Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to the Chester Kamga Show. I told you guys I was going to be here at 9 o'clock, and I think there's no one here. So, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to rush to my screen right now and share the page as it goes live so that now you can join in. Okay? I'll be back in a bit. See you in a bit. So, welcome to episode one, actually episode 001 of the. I'm still figuring out the name. I don't know what I'll call it, the Chasa Kamga Show, or Kamga Rights, or something similar to that. And hey, so if you're joining me, you can just say hi. I'm just starting right now. It's like 9 o'clock, and feel free to ask your questions. So basically, with this, it'll be a conversation between the two of us, which will be geared towards content creation, writing, and content marketing. So, what's content creation? Whatever it is that you're creating a content, which is from text to audio to video, and content marketing will be how to use social media to sell yourself, your business, or whatever it is that you're selling that you want to use the internet for. So, you're welcome to join me. This is a bet I'm putting on myself because I don't know whether the lighting is good. If you're hearing me, can you just let me know in the comments if you're actually getting me clearly, because I'm using a mic. It's a little bit noisy here in my house. I live beside some weird place, so let me know if you're getting me clearly. Could you, make a sign, like, love, whatever, anything to show that you're there or not? You know, I have an interesting story that I think you're going to like, but yeah, that's me just ranting. I have no interesting story. Anyway, episode one. So, what are we going to talk about? The title of this episode is "Can this actually be a video, a writer's vlog?" I've wanted to do a vlog for a very long time. I've been thinking about, creating content and putting it online, like on a daily basis or on a regular basis. I think this thing's a little bit high. Let me just pull it down a bit, yeah, or not, or just put this right here. Better, I think, or not. Hmm. So, my name is Shasta Kamga, obviously, and I'm your host for this show. It's going to last an hour max, and this is 5 minutes. Sounds like I've been talking for the past 30 minutes. The interesting thing about these live shows, or in fact, whatever live shows I realize, is that you don't know what's going to happen. Especially because I did the quote unquote marketing of it just now, a couple of seconds ago. And it shows me there's one person watching, but the one person is never saying anything. So, I don't know. Wait, who could this be? Let me find out who you are. Okay, yeah, it's not showing me who it is. But it's cool. Wait a minute. Okay, I can't find the comments. So, what are you up to? I'm basically asking myself what I am up to, which is something very stupid for anybody to actually be asking himself or herself. Like, who does that? Apparently, I do. So, let's see if I can keep it up. This is a challenge I posed to myself. What quote unquote embarrassing thing I could do on a regular basis. Oh, Mafa Glory, thank you for the heart. Thank you very much. At least, I don't feel so lonely anymore now. At least there's somebody watching. or two people actually, or more, or I don't know. Anyway, so I'm your host and I'm a writer. Why do I call myself a writer? Mostly because I write. I think that's the definition you need. Because I feel that most people just don't, they confuse being an author and being a writer. This is an interesting story. Well, it's not a story, something that actually happened to me. When I was telling my dad that I wanted to become a writer, or that I wanted to make a living writing, we had this interesting conversation because my father is mostly French speaking. He did the French educational system, so he thinks in French. And when I gave him the word writer, what came to his mind was écrivain. And an écrivain in French predicates or actually means somebody who writes books. Whereas when you're a writer in English, it means you could write anything, which could break down to copywriting or content writing, or I'm sure there are many more technical terms that denote whatever it is that you create content, what platform you create content. Now, can I get some feedback from you guys? If you're watching, can you tell me if you're getting me clearly or if you're seeing me clearly? Do you need to change the lighting or the sound or something? Let me know. And if you don't mind, please do share the video so that others can watch or ask questions. I look forward to your questions. So, yeah. This is interesting. So, who is a writer? A writer is someone who writes. That's my definition. I'm sure that many people are going to tell you something differently, like uh, maybe a writer is somebody who has a book, which I think is not, because you have to be an author to have a book. An author is somebody who's written a book. I've said that too many times. It's becoming redundant. And what can a writer do? I come with a lot of prejudice because of where I am, which is Boya, Cameroon right now. And it's quote unquote difficult to make a living as a writer in Cameroon because our ecosystem apparently hasn't reached the level that allows people to, be able to tell us that they could make a living, or people can pay writers or pay content creators. However, the truth is that people who make a living as content creators in many companies, almost every single company has a marketing department or a communications department, and they need people to write articles, they need people to write blogs, they need people to write PR content, press releases, and stuff like that. And as a writer, you can make a pretty good living doing that. But when I think that when most people think of the word writer, they always tend towards novels. Like, let me a second. Like, for example, if when we talk about Cameroonian writers who have made it or are making it now, we have somebody like this, Imbolombwe, Behold the Dreamers. We've been hearing people talk about this book, about the controversies. I mean, I even saw a page on Facebook where somebody actually shared a single page, and under the comment section, I got really pissed off because people were drawing conclusions about the whole context of the book by reading a single page, and that was messed up in my opinion, because I don't think you should be able to just get up and then draw conclusions on a book from reading a page. That is not cool, I think, and the necessity. This is weird. This is really weird. Like, anyway, it's necessary to understand the context before drawing conclusions. I mean, it's okay to draw judge a book by its cover, but it also makes sense that when you're reading the book, before judging the content of the book, read the whole book. So that is what I think most people should be able to do. We cannot just judge a book from the content. As a writer, that's as me, who wants to one day be able to publish a novel or a book, I think there are two main classes of writing which govern a lot of the writing that is in the world: non-fiction and fiction. Non-fiction, I'm sorry, but I'll not be giving, well, actually, I'm not sorry. If not, I will not be doing it. I will not be providing the kind of technical definitions that are given in classrooms or in textbooks, because I didn't do any training as a writer. I didn't attend any MFA classes. I didn't attend any, I don't know, courses. I did a couple of workshops with Bakwa, organized by my friend Zekashi Magriban. They organized a couple of workshops in partnership with the Short Story Day Africa and Goethe Institute, and they gave us a lot of techniques about writing and the process and generating ideas and writing sentences and being more descriptive and stuff like that. So when I say there are two main classes of content, I keep saying content creation, of writing, it's non-fiction and fiction. Fiction is what you read, classifies under novels, like things that are made up, things that are, you don't have to do a lot of literary devices, well, not like poetry, but you have to create content that is create content that is new from nothing. Say, for example, Harry Potter is a fiction novel. Uh, there are many kinds of fiction things because fiction is fiction. It's work of fiction. It means it's a work of creativity. From nothing, you create something. You create a book. You create an idea. You create a community. Lord of the Rings, all the big names that you can call that fantasy novel. So you can start breaking it down, whether it's romance or whatever, from fiction. And then there is non-fiction, which is still writing, like journalism, for example. There's journalistic non-fiction deals with facts. It deals with you could use literary devices and write creatively using non-fiction. Whether it's fiction or non-fiction, you could do any of those two. They could meet somehow. For example, the New Yorker and Backward Magazine are trying to, or the New Yorker has done it already, but what Backward Magazine takes is journalistic, creative non-fiction, which is you write fiction, you write non-fiction in a way that is creative. So imagine, for example, there's this story, platforms that use a lot of that. You have the New Yorker, you have, which other site? I think even the New York Times, platforms that actually have this long-form content, journalism, that looks like a story, but actually is real. So there's two main forms of content. I really wish you guys can ask questions so that I can stop babbling. I think I babble a lot. And yeah, so you can create or write two various types of books, which is either a non-fiction book or a fiction book. But in the environment in which we live today, we have a lot of people creating content. I mean, when I say content, I mean in the form of writing. Whether it's a blog or a piece of content for your business or copy for your advertising, a lot of the content that we create on a regular basis on the internet for our businesses and ourselves usually fall under non-fiction. Unless you're a creative writer, a creative fiction writer who creates stories for sale, for example, maybe fiction stories, which are short stories or long-form stories or books. And I spend a lot of time writing and reading non-fiction, so I tend to gear a lot towards non-fiction writing. My favorite bloggers or writers write non-fiction. I don't call their books self-help. They're mostly help books because they provide techniques for you to be able to read and write in their format without necessarily telling you things like they don't give you strategies on how to feel better, but provide a whole framework for you to be able to help yourself build, whether you want to improve your life spiritually, physically, psychologically, or whatever way you want to build it. It's not giving you like, okay, do this today, tomorrow, forever, but it's something about they teach you how to grow on a daily basis. 1% increase compounds to a long-term increase at the end of the year. So that is something that I like reading and that I look forward to writing. So, for example, I'm working on a memoir right now. It's a love memoir. Yeah, I'm writing a lot of love poetry and love text because a lot of my life, or the reason why I became a writer or a blogger, was because I used to write all these stories, these heartbreak stories from where somebody sent me a notification and I think so. Just give me a moment. I will go check the notification and then I'll be right back in a second. So please, the idea for the show is for you to give me your questions. If you have any questions, you ask. If you have any comments, you make them. And I'll be back in a few. So, see you in a bit. I'm back and I look forward to your questions. So, nice. Two more people joined in. This is me. Oh, great. So how do you see yourself in 5 years? And thank you for the question. How do I see myself in 5 years? First of all, I'm not a seer. I don't see myself in 5 years. I don't have a crystal ball kept under my bed where I can look and see the future. So I don't know, but in 5 years I'll be, 30, 32, because I'm 27 now. And under normal circumstances, I should have been able to publish at least a book. I should have been able to create the media website I'm working on. I should have been able to create my podcasting platform. I should have been able to find somebody. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a kid. I don't know. I don't know. What I really focus on, it's doing everything that I need to do today to make sure that tomorrow is fine. 5 years is a long time, and I'm looking at the things I want to do that take like minimum 10 years. 5 years is really small compared to what I really want to do. So I don't mind waiting for that long. Yeah. Any more questions? Because this thing. Are you getting me clearly, by the way? I'm worried that I am giving off the wrong vibe and the wrong sound. So let me know if you're getting me clearly. And did you get the answer to the question? Did it satisfy you? If you're watching, okay, thank you very much. N, Monsieur N. And did my answer satisfy you? Pretty much. All right, you're welcome. So, where are you, by the way? This thing is taking a while to answer. So 5 years. Oh, and talking of time, I realized that this is a necessity. It's necessary for us to be able to set time to do a lot of stuff. And Monique Kwachi organized a workshop last Saturday. What do you mean you can't see me? Who's that? We're talking about projects. Which kind of book do you want to publish? Do you already know? Yes, I know the kind of book I want to publish, and I'm working on it right now. It's a memoir. So earlier, I was talking about non-fiction and fiction. I realized that the kind of fiction I write is very short fiction. It will take me a long time to be able to write a novel or to write the kind of long-form fiction that I will want to publish using platforms that are upcoming like Bakwa. But what I find myself very comfortable in creating on a regular basis is non-fiction writing, which is mostly memoirs. Douala, best city in the world. All right. I mean, boy, best city in the world too. Anybody who come and tell you that their city is the best city in the world. Anyway, so the book I want to publish is going to be a poetry collection. There's a poetry collection that I've already finished, but I don't want to publish a collection because it no longer represents the kind of writer I am right now. It's a collection that I finished in 2015. What's a memoir? A memoir is like an autobiography or a biography, which is that what will happen is I am focusing on a particular aspect of my life. So there is a term my friend Makuban used, which was I've forgotten the thing. It was something realism. I'll think and ask and then let you know. I forgot the term, but basically it was expressing a form of writing which has a couple of properties. One of them was that you cannot trust the author because the author is probably a liar or is not consistent in the sense that, let me say, if I was narrating my story, there are things that I might have forgotten. So you write with the kind of voice that the reader might not be able to trust entirely because the writer has shown that the person who is narrating the story doesn't have all the information that is necessary. And that's one thing. So you might not be able to trust the author. And then secondly, you can juxtapose the events in the story. So I might start my memoir writing with something that's happened in the university. And I move to something that happened when I was younger. I move to something that happened in the past. So there's no exact time frame that I need to follow. It's a format that I want to use, that I'm using right now to write my memoir, which is I am focusing on love and loss. Those are the two main themes of the book. It's maybe the relationships I had, the things I had interest in, the heartbreaks and projects that I lost. It's playing with the emotions around loving something or somebody or a particular period and then the loss. So those conversations, those change of interest and all those kind of things that happen during that period. So a memoir is, from the word memoir, like memory, what happened. It's a collection of a narrative of the things that had occurred. So if it's, for example, my life. So basically what I'm writing is my life between, I think, 2000, copying. Oh, nice, Bar. Welcome. So if you have any questions, you just ask me, and I look forward to answering your questions. And please do share the video with your friends so that other people can watch. And don't forget to click on the notification so that whenever I, log in and do the live thing, you guys will be there. Why did I say you guys? You will be there. I always feel like when you say you guys, it sounds very demeaning. I don't know why. I don't like to be called you guys. I'm not you guys. I'm a guy. Yeah, so, and does that answer your question about the memoir? What about you, Bara? Any questions? I'm listening to Seven Lions. I don't know whether you're getting Seven Lions all through the headphones. I suppose not. So feel free to ask me any questions, content creation, content marketing, writing, using social media, poetry, delivery, speaking, selling, wearing glasses. If you have any questions around the topics, just hit me. So the theme for this first episode is I'm testing this. I want to be able to do this on a daily basis. If you have any questions, just ask. Whatever. So far as this, well, so far as not a personal question. I'm trying as much as possible to avoid answering personal questions these days because for the past couple of months, I realized that I've been putting out a lot of myself on the internet, and I feel like people have been using it against me. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But I'm trying to be much more considerate about the kind of material I put on the internet or that I talk about, because I realize that you need to have things that you have by yourself. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll change my mind in a couple of months, but at the moment, I don't like sharing too much. So hit me up. Any questions? You guys have never even liked the video, like not even once. I say, guys, like how is the video? Is the video not cool enough for you guys? Just ask me questions. I'm waiting for your questions. Do you have any questions? I'm still waiting for them. Why is somebody asking any questions? I'm seeing 4 people watching. This is weird. Wait, so you're actually just looking at me? Is that it? Like you're just thank you. Okay. Oh, thank you. Looks like it was a lag. Shufai Bara. I read from several prominent writers that the only way to write better is to write, and form doesn't matter. So you spoke of pro and amateur and forms. How do I pick from you two? How do you pick a form, or how do you pick from me? But let me see if I can rephrase the question. Let me reread the question. I read from several prominent writers that the only way to write better is to write, and form doesn't matter. So you spoke of pro and amateurs and forms. How do I pick from you? I think there are 3 questions in the one question. Let's start from the only way to write better is to write. I don't think so. I think the only way to write better is to write and to read with intent. What this means is that you cannot just write because you can spell words. You have to write, and you're writing with a purpose. For example, you have to write I think you should write on a daily basis, even if you have to publish, which is put a quota, like, okay, every day I'll write 100 words, for example. I read somewhere the way to adopt new habits is to start with small increments. So if you don't just skip from 0 to 1,000 words on a daily basis, like, oh yeah, I'm going to write 1,000 words on a daily basis. No, start with 100 words. Start with something that you can do in 2 minutes, and then move on as you continue. So I think the only way to write better that I have noticed from my personal experience is that you read the kind of writers that you like. So when you see a writer or an author, a blogger that you like, consume their material as much as possible. Become them. Maybe even copy them. I think I've copied a lot of my writing style right now is from James Altucher. I don't mind saying that I copy his style, but I've copied his style now and appropriated it into mine, because I stopped talking like him. I started talking like me, because that was who I was. I think that your voice comes out when you have consumed enough voices for your voice to just pull itself out of the myriad of voices. So you feel it. You feel that you might read a sentence that you enjoy, but you say, but why? What if I put these words in this particular direction? What if I put a comma here? What if I write just one word? What if I just, like, what James does is that he has a lot of short sentences. And if you read my text, I have a lot of short sentences, because I think that the full stop is probably the most powerful punctuation mark. So first, to write better, read a lot, write a lot. It's not just one. When you read, you see the kind of writing that you want to imbibe. When you write, you test now the skills that you've had, and you improve now with feedback from other writers, from publishing your works on the internet. I think that I've gotten better because I've been giving my work to people to read and write. And sometimes, it's good to have feedback, because the feedback gives you. So, and then, and Nina, Apollonia, I'll answer your question a bit. So, right, form doesn't matter. Form does matter in the sense that your voice matters. It's not that there's a form that you have to follow. No, there is a way people read. Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but not necessarily in that order. Somebody said that. I've forgotten. Jean-Louis Godard, I think, Jean-Louis Godard said, every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but not necessarily in that order. You can see, for example, a story that starts at the end. I mean, when you watch most, movies, Jason Bourne, for example, started when he's lost his memory, and it walks you through what happened till the very end of the Bourne Supremacists and the other Bourne movies. So form may or may not matter, depending on what you're looking for. Now, I have a worry with the word form, because I don't know what I mean. The content, the style, the platform. I don't know what you mean by form. So if you clarify, I'll be able to give a much more preferable answer. Pro and amateur. When I was talking about professionals and amateurs, amateurs wait for inspiration. Professionals set a time and then they write, no matter how uninspired or inspired they are. The difference between an amateur and a professional writer is that the professional knows that the only way to write is to sit down and write, especially when they don't want to write. Let me repeat that. A professional knows that the only way to write is to sit down and write, especially when they don't feel like writing. Because think of it. Imagine that you're a chemical engineer and you had chemical engineer's block. Do you think you get in the morning like, oh, I don't feel like wielding, I don't know, making chemicals mix today. I have no ideas on how to join chemicals. That's stupid. A writer should not be able to have writer's block. The thing is, we have all these expectations of the way our writing is going to be. You want to sit down and then just write a masterpiece from day one. Yo, that's not going to happen. A masterpiece comes after days and months and years of sitting down and writing and drafting and first drafts and rejections, and then you have a masterpiece. For example, me, I don't think that I'm going to have a masterpiece anytime soon. I'm thinking like 5-10 years before I write anything that I'll be like, okay, that is a great book. No. After everything that I've done, everything that I've written, I still don't think that I'm close to writing anything as well as I'm supposed to. So how to pick, that depends a lot on things. So how to pick a form. So how to pick a form, I lost my live there. I hope you guys are there. So how to pick a form, it depends. Like I talk about the voice. You need to be able to know what kind of voice are you looking for? What kind of writing do you like? What are the people that when you read your novels, you can take a book from the beginning and finish it? And that's the kind of form that you're looking forward to. But if you ask a question clearly, I would give a better answer. So, Anne, what happens when you have a great idea, but then you suddenly get the blank page syndrome? Suddenly, how sudden? Okay, what happens when you get a great idea, but you suddenly get a blank page syndrome? What do you mean a blank page syndrome? I don't understand your question because I realize that great ideas can meet you anywhere. But then what is a great idea? Ideas are crap. Like I always say, execution is everything. When it comes to writing particularly, there are times, hey, Audrien, thanks for coming, bro. I hope you have any questions to ask. Capture the ideas whenever you can capture the ideas. And if you're watching this, please ask people to, invite guys to follow. It'll be nice to have more people answering questions and asking questions. So when you have a great idea, you should write it down. And this also comes from James Altucher. He has this thing here he calls a daily practice, which is on a daily basis. He talks of the 4 bodies. Like he had how to become the luckiest human on earth. So that's the title of the post. The 4 bodies, you have the physical body, the spiritual body, the emotional body, and the mental body. So when you have the physical body is exercise, eat well, sleep well, at least 8 hours a day. The emotional body is be around cool people, be around people you like, people who love you, and people who respect you, and people you love and respect. The spiritual body is read the text of scripture every day. If you're a Muslim, read the Quran. If you're a Catholic, read the Bible, meditate, etc. Express gratitude, like actually be grateful for what you have. And then what we're talking about here is the mental body, which is write 10 ideas down a day. The reason why you think that you have a great idea is because you have one idea. For me, and from what I've seen, in order to get one great idea, you have to write 1,000 crappy ideas. Or maybe 1,000 is too much, but you have to write a lot of crappy ideas. Most companies or most platforms, most people realize that you start writing about something, and then in the end you find out, hey, actually this second paragraph looks like the beginning of the story, or the beginning of another story. So you're more likely to be able to create amazing content as a writer if you don't treat like ideas like eggs. So create as many ideas as possible. Take, for example, a piece of paper right now and then write 10 ideas on 10 ideas for titles of books that I could write, for example. That's an idea. Or 10 ideas of ways to kill a character. Or 10 ideas of locations to set my novel in. You should be able to do freeform. The thing about the idea muscle, that is still James Altucher, that your mind, your brain is a muscle. And the more you use it, the more it gets stronger. So if you're able to exercise your idea muscle on a daily basis, you're more likely to be able to produce amazing ideas randomly. So if you say, because of one idea, you find a blank page, then fill the page with crappy ideas. Whether you want it or not, some great ideas are going to come out. Ideas are infinite. There is, I was talking with a friend today, and what I realized was, well, not what I realized. I read it somewhere definitely. There's all these things. When you read a lot, you have a tendency to think that you know all this stuff, whereas you don't actually know them. You just collected all this material from people, so they come out like your ideas, but they're not. So Srini Rao, podcaster, writer, blogger that I love, is on Facebook. He was interviewing his partner, Brian Cohen, and Brian mentioned something about the kind of mentality or the kind of identity that you have on money, your money mentality. So if you come of a place, if you come from a place of scarcity, a scarcity mentality where people tell you, for example, like money is not enough, be careful how you share your ideas, use your energy wisely, work hard. There's no time. When you have a mentality that pushes you to think about the scarcity of a lot of things, you might think, for example, that you have this one idea, which is the greatest idea that you will ever have, and that you're never going to have any idea again. And here's a catch here. The kicker is that you're right. If you think that that's the only idea you ever have, then probably that's the only idea you ever have. And that's why I advocate people sharing their ideas. Because the more ideas you give out, the more ideas you have. When you have an abundance mentality, which is the reverse of a scarcity mentality, you have a tendency to actually, want to give out ideas, want to give out stuff. Philanthropy, for example, people give out their money. Most of them, I don't know. Most people, I'm not a philanthrop. I give out money, but yeah, I cannot call myself philanthrop. Maybe I should. What do you think? Question. Answer. What do you think? Do you think I should call myself a philanthrop because I have money and I give a little bit of it? I think I should. Philanthropists will tell you that the more they give, the more they receive. And even the Bible. You ask and you shall receive. Give and you shall. Is that part of the Bible? I don't know. Please, somebody should correct me. So you should be able to ask and give. The more ideas you have, the more ideas you have. That's a weird thing. Yeah. The more ideas you're able to create, the more ideas you'll be able to generate. When you come from an abundance mentality, when you realize that, okay, fine, I had this one idea, but this was at the end. Okay, something that happened to me that actually cost me a week long of pain, which was I started writing on Instagram in 2016. I'll take pictures. If you go to my Instagram right now, you see a couple of months ago, I'll take pictures and I'll write these short stories below the pictures. And one day I was standing in front of, because I used to write randomly. I never had a timetable. I never had a scheduled period to sit down and write. I would just sit down and I would write. And I started writing this really amazing story. Well, in my mind it was amazing. It was epic. It was like the best story I'd ever written. And then Instagram crashed. Instagram bloody crashed with my story. I had not written it anywhere else. I had not saved it on Evernote, nothing. So it was this sequence is like 500 words, beautifully written characters, beautiful pictures, and I felt terrible for like 3 days. I was like, what's going to happen to me? I've just seen this great story that could have developed into another story, but I don't have anything to do anymore, so I can't. And yeah, it sucked. But what happened? I got over it. I wrote again, and the reason why I'm getting more into creating more content on a daily basis is because I realized that this thing is infinite. Like, you have so much more to offer than you can imagine. But if you limit yourself by thinking that you don't have that much more to do, then you'll be right. You don't have a lot of things to do. Yeah. So somebody sent me a notification on the page I shared on the group. So please, could you share this page for other people to ask me questions? I would love to get your questions. And I don't know whether, Anne, did my answer satisfy you? Was it enough? Let me know what you think. Let me start by liking this text. Yes, nice, thank you. Questions. N, are you there? What happened here? Why is it not likable? You cannot pin comments. Pin comments are visible. No, it's not. No. What have I done? Alright, so. Hey, Odoyan, what's up? Welcome to the show. That's stolen from Gary V. So, I'm looking forward to your questions. Let me go and check on notifications and I'll be back. Please leave your questions. I'm right here talking to you guys. There's somebody watching. Who is this watching? Can't ask me any questions. I can't see you. Why? Huh? I'll be back. So, hey, anybody in the house, make a sign, like, comment, share. If you have any questions, episode 1 is about having a daily vlog, whatever. So, if you have any questions on writing, please feel free to ask. I saw a question right now from my good friend Fotang. And the question he asked was, how do you write without being biased? I don't think you can. First of all, it's a complex question because it depends on what kind of writing you're talking about. You mean as a journalist, as a blogger? Okay, how do you write without being biased? Franklin, Fotan, welcome and thank you for your question. How do you write without being biased? You might need to clarify a little bit because you mean as a journalist, as a writer, as a blogger, biased for who? What kind of articles? If I'm writing a story, for example, if I'm writing a fiction story, I don't care about being biased or not. Let me say there's a character in the book that doesn't like something. A character in the book, for example, that was hurt. Well, he will not care about other people's feelings, right? He will just say what he wants to say. It doesn't matter. So when you're creating your characters, you have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. So far as they are as real as possible. You can set your characters in a magic world. Like I'm reading this book right now by Nnedi Okorafor called, is it Okorafor? Okorafor. Yeah, Nnedi Okorafor called Who Fears Death. And there's this amazing character she created called Onye Sonwo. She has this amazing capabilities. She's a female character, driven, tall, and I don't want to spoil the book. It's a magic realism book. There's so many amazing light stories and things in there. And she can be biased. For example, the character she's very impatient. She's very, any type of writing, articles, etc. It cannot be any type of writing. What I'm saying is you can be biased depending on what your character is. If you're creating a character from scratch, for example, the character can be whatever you want it to be. So you can decide whether the character is jealous, angry, a liar, or whatever. When you're writing a journalistic piece, now I did journalism in the University of Boya. My lecturer, Prof. Divine, he will talk about FOAB, like the four key things you need to keep in mind when you're writing an article or a journalistic piece, which is facts, objectivity, accuracy, and brevity. So let's start from the reverse. Brevity, which means you should keep short, straight to the point, clarity, straight. You write an article, you're not being fluffy and putting words that don't make any sense. And accuracy. If 10 people died, 10 people died. If 12 people left the hall, 12 people left the hall. You're not going to say about a dozen people. No, you're not going to give doubts or room for anybody thinking that, well, there might have been more people, but there were less people. And that's what happened. So objectivity is going now and not being biased. If you're a journalist, for example, and you're reporting the facts of a story, you cannot pick a side. So writing and not being biased depends on what you're writing for. If you're writing to report the news, you have a responsibility to the people, to the readers, to be objective, to not pick a side, to provide both sides of the equation. Now, here's the thing. That accuracy has to be done with fairness. Because if, for example, there's an argument, let me say we're about to vote the Bill of Rights, and then 20 people vote for and one person votes against, you saying that the votes were divided is not being accurate, it's not being objective, it's actually being biased because one person didn't like it, 20 people did. There was an agreement by a majority of people, which actually says that many more people wanted it. Objectivity requires that you express the fact that somebody disagreed. But you make sure you point out that it's not as many people who disagreed as agreed. Because what will happen is you report a story and say, for example, there's a fight and people are fighting. There are many more people doing something wrong than people who are doing something right. But you report it as though some people were destroying the windows, other people were begging them not to. So it's not fair and it's not objective. It's actually biased when you don't report with accuracy. So you need to keep this in mind when writing. How do you write without being biased? Well, you have to not be biased yourself. You have to pay attention to your biasness, which is the reason why you have editors and editors-in-chief who can keep you in check. So you write your story and it goes through your colleagues, it goes through the editor, and people can read and be able to make sure that the facts sort out, it's legible enough, it's objective, and people can actually take note of what they're saying. So, Franklin, I don't know whether that answers the question. Let me know what you think. So, this is awkward. Anyway, let's continue with Anne's story. What happens when you have a blank page? So, question answered. All right, you're welcome. Do you have any other questions? Don't forget to click the follow button so that whenever I go live, you can actually see the notification and then you'll be able to join in as soon as possible. Yeah, I look forward to your questions, guys. Like, are you getting that car from that direction? I actually got my water. I thought I wanted to talk a lot today, so I brought water to drink. No, it's not tangy. It's that water that I put in the tangy bottle, so it's cool. Do you have any questions? Thanks, bro. Thank you. Franklin. How's Bamenda Sefe? What are you up to? I'm listening to Seven Lions. Are you getting Seven Lions through the headphones? I don't think you are. Oh, and also I look forward to your comments. Like, how do we fact check the fact checkers? How do we write the writers? How do you fact check the fact checkers? That's the reason why you have things like dictionaries and repositories and like what? What is a fact anyway? Like, if you go down to the basics of the definition of a fact, you realize that it's just the numbers that speak. If many people agree that something is right, then it becomes a fact, even if one person sees that it's wrong. Like, if you look at throughout history, when they thought that the world was a flat place, and many people say no, they thought the world was flat, whereas the world was round. I think it was Galileo who was like, no, the world is round, and this is what it is. What happened to him? He was burnt to the stake or crucified or something. I've forgotten. But yeah, he was wrong. It wasn't a fact. The fact was that the world was flat. So what is a fact? The fact checkers check only what is agreed by a large number of people. And bottom line is, if many people agree with you, then it's likely they are right. So you actually have to know what you're looking for. And what the other question I ask you, why would I want to check the fact checkers? Like, when I don't watch news. I don't listen to the news a lot. I think if it's important enough, someone's going to tell me, or I'll find it on my Facebook feed. Because I realize that a lot of the news is just geared towards whether it's propaganda or making sure that you're worried all the time, or I don't know. When it comes to writing, how do you fact check the fact checkers? I don't know, man. You read a lot. You have multiple sources. You are in contact with experts in the field, and keep in mind that you have to know that experts are people who have failed a lot in a particular field to the point where they know what works and what doesn't work. So even experts can be wrong, and they're only right in those particular limited fields that they know. So how to fact checkers? I would suggest that you have multiple sources. You keep yourself informed by having multiple sources. If you know an expert in the field, for example, credibility is built with trust and with time. If you have somebody who is known for speaking the truth and for speaking facts, then the likelihood of somebody lying when the person is speaking the truth reduces as the person keeps speaking the truth. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, if you know somebody who is always trustworthy, if you know a journalist or a reporter who is always giving the truth, or who always says things as they are, who asks objective questions, then that can be somebody that you can use to fact check. So it's like this. It's like fake news on the internet. What happens when you see fake news? Like, I remember the time they said Arnold Schwarzenegger was dead, and I was like, oh no, Arnold Schwarzenegger is gone. I miss him. Terminator. Blah blah blah. And someone said, oh no, it's fake news. Then you go to. What happens now is when something happens on the internet, what do? You go and check on CNN. You go and check on France 24. You go and check on all these bodies that have been approved by a large number of people to be factual. And that's how you know. So essentially, I don't think they are facts. They're just a group of things that people have accepted. What is the fact about gravity? We've accepted that gravity is the force that pulls everything down. So what if somebody says, well, actually there's something else up that pushes people down. It's not the force from the earth that is pulling down. And then a large group of people accept that as the truth. Then what happens to gravity? It stops being a fact, right? I hope that never happens because I like the facts the way they are. It's just going to be weird. But I don't know if I get my point. Does that make any sense, Franklin? Does that answer the question? How do you fact check the fact checkers? Yeah, that's my answer. And I'll be up for another 10 minutes, mostly because I'm waiting for your questions, so you're not getting many questions. And it's interesting though. I've been thinking about starting a vlog. I said that already in the beginning, and a podcast and writing daily, which means that I have to create an inordinate amount of content on a regular basis. And the content, for me, if content is available to somebody, then it doesn't make any sense. All right, you think? I'm listening. You should share the video so that other people can see. Like, share, invite your friends to watch. I don't mind. You can ask questions on writing, content creation, content marketing. I've been also thinking about, is it about or about? Actually, it's about. It's a schwa sound. I've been thinking about the fact that we have so many blogs in Cameroon that mostly focus on music, and we've not been able to take full advantage of the internet to create platforms that allow people of various interests, because there are many people of various interests, to truly discover the power of the internet. I mean, I'm right now in Boya. You can watch me anywhere in the world so far as you have Facebook and you have an internet connection. How cool is that? I mean, that for me that's the ultimate. Well, it's not the ultimate, but it expresses the opportunities that we have in this age and time. Because this is what's happening. This is. I want to put this here for the record. Let the record show that I said this before it happened. I'm doing a live show that I advertised poorly a couple of hours ago, and had people telling me that they were going to come and watch. And I was expecting many people to come and watch. I had all these huge expectations of how, oh my God, I have so many questions. We're going to watch me all over the world. But then, this is my friends. These are my friends. These are a few people who have come and they're watching and they're listening. And for me, it's more than enough that one person is watching. Because if somebody can give me their time, I see one person live here. I don't know who the person is. If you're still watching right now, please just leave your name. I would actually like to thank you. Because I had these huge expectations of thousands of people watching. Time is not always by my side. Okay, a schedule. What kind of schedule? Like, I wanted to do this on 9 p.m. every day, like on a daily basis, 9 p.m. Does that work for you, Frank? Does that work for you? So, this is the introduction. Okay, it's 10. I looked at my watch a couple of minutes ago. It was 4 minutes. Sorry, it was 14 to 10, and now I'm looking at this 10 to 10. In my head, it was like 1 hour had gone through. So we can expect things to happen in the world, but all right, cool. 9 p.m. every day. I mean, the lighting will be terrible, but yeah, I look forward to it. Maybe I think no, I won't be doing it during the day. I was thinking I'll do some during the day and some at night, but then when will I actually get time to write? I'll find myself just walking around like this the whole day. That's just it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Franklin, and everybody for the questions. I'm still here for a couple of minutes, so if you have any questions, just hit them up. Even if you come and watch this, if you're watching this now and you're offline, leave your questions. I will take the questions and develop them into articles and write, or the next time I'll be answering them, because I post a lot on Facebook when I have quote-unquote free time. Nobody has free time. Time is expensive. And I look forward to having your questions and answering them. What I was saying earlier was that I was expecting a lot of people to come and watch, and what I want to leave on the record is that not many people have come and watched, but I'm happy that is the case. I'm happy that one person was able to say, you know what, Cam guy is a noisy, glasses, sharp teeth guy that I'm going to listen to, and that's cool. I'm really grateful for you taking the time to watch. I look forward to many more episodes. It'll be a daily event. What's daily event? A daily show. Mostly focused on writing. And start at 9 p.m. every day. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Or, yeah. So I'm on Snapchat. I think I'm on every single platform that exists on the internet right now, except I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm everywhere. Chestercam guy is the name on any platform. So if you have any questions, ask anywhere. My domains are content creation, writing, blogging, podcasting, speaking, poetry, sales, pitching, ideas. I consider myself an idea machine because I tend to be able to come up with all these weird ideas in uncomfortable positions that I never thought was possible. And that's okay. So this was nice though. I think I liked it. So I want to go and check whether somebody wrote. I made a mistake. I actually shared the video using my own account on my page. So I don't know why I was thinking, what is what is wrong with me? And then Frank, I know Frank and they asked me questions on that page instead. So I want to go right now and check. If you have any questions, leave them. I'll be back in 2 minutes. So Frank, don't go anywhere. Oh, no. Yeah. So I'm back, and somebody's still watching. Frank, is that you? I suppose so. Um, I came. Okay, yeah. What I decided is at the end of my show is going to be a book. I'll be recommending a book at the end of every show, which means I actually have started reading a lot, whether it's soft copies or hard copies or whatever copies. And today I actually have two books, but I'm recommending one of the books. This is the book. Can you read it? Can you? It's The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This is my favorite book of all times, and I think everybody should read this book. So let me see. Let's read the back. Okay, this is how I read. I don't know about you, but when I see a book, this is what I do. I look at the cover page, The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, then look at the back page. To realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation from the alchemist. That is what's behind. And then open the book. Of course, I smell it because that's what book nerds do. And then Paulo Coelho's enchanting novel has inspired a devoted following around the world. This story, dazzling in its powerful simplicity and soul-stirring wisdom, is about an Andalusian shepherd boy named Santiago, who travels from his homeland in Spain to the Egyptian desert in search of a treasure buried near the pyramids. Along the way, he meets a gypsy woman, a man who calls himself king, and an alchemist, all of whom point Santiago in the direction of his quest. No one knows where the treasure is, or what the treasure is, or if Santiago will be able to surmount the obstacles in his path. But what starts out as a journey to find worldly goods turns into a discovery of the treasure found within. Lush, evocative, and deeply humane, the story of Santiago is an eternal testament to the transforming power of our dreams and the importance of listening to our hearts. This book I've read it 3 times already, and I loved it. Let me see if I can find one of my favorite paragraphs. This is no, I don't think I can find it. But I don't want to spoil this book. There is in this man doesn't mention. I think it's a religious book or a spiritual book in one way because it doesn't exactly tell you to believe in God. It doesn't tell you to pray, but every single phase of it, like things like it is written, which is what it's written, which is sorry, maktub in the book means it is written. I can't get the title. Comment the title. The Alchemist. Okay, let me type that down. Okay, actually I'll write it down. The Alchemist, like you know alchemy, right? The guys who could change, gold into water into gold or something. People could transform any metal into gold, diamonds. Yeah. So that's the book. The book is The Alchemist. It's about a shepherd boy called Santiago who journeys far from his home to get to the pyramids because somebody told him that he was going to find a treasure there. And then, well, I don't know whether he finds the treasure or not, but during the journey, man, the journey is epic. He meets these amazing people. I think this is the first time I'm doing a video review of a book that I've read. I will find a passage that I think you're going to like. Maybe I should read the first passage. No, I can't. Yes. I'll finish with this part. If you're getting me clearly, right? I'll read the prologue of the book so that you can actually maybe want to read the book. Let's discuss the prologue. Are you ready, Franklin? So, prologue, translated by Clifford E. Sanders. I'm reading from The Alchemist. The Alchemist picked up a book that someone in the caravan had bought. Leafing through the pages, he found a story about Narcissus. The alchemist knew the legend of Narcissus, a youth who knelt daily beside a lake to contemplate his own beauty. He was so fascinated by himself that one morning he fell into the lake and drowned. At the spot where he fell, a flower was born, which was called the Narcissus. But this was not how the author of the book ended the story. He said that when Narcissus died, is it Narcissus or Narcissus? Sorry, let me just finish the story. When Narcissus died, the goddess of the forest appeared and found the lake, which had been fresh water, transformed into a lake of salty tears. Why do you weep? The goddess asked. I weep for Narcissus, the lake replied. Ah, it is no surprise that you weep for Narcissus, they said. Okay, the goddesses, not the goddess, damn it. It is no surprise that they weep for Narcissus, they said. For though we always pursued him in the forest, you alone could contemplate the beauty close at hand. But was Narcissus beautiful? The lake asked. Who better than you to know that? The goddesses said in wonder. After all, it was by your banks that he knelt each day to contemplate himself. The lake was silent for some time. Finally, it said, I weep for Narcissus, but I never noticed that Narcissus was beautiful. I weep because each time he knelt beside my banks, I could see, in the depths of his eyes, my own beauty reflected. What a lovely story, The Alchemist thought. So, that is the prologue of The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. My sweet cousin Auntie Jill got me this book and sent from the US. I don't know where you're going to get your copy. I don't know how you do. I don't know. But if you're able to get a cousin, a friend, a sister, a brother, somebody who's traveling to get the books, I think you should. It's a great book. It's a keeper. I don't lend my copy. I think I lent my copy to Howard. That was the only person who got my copy, and I gave it back, and he gave it back. So it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I'll be doing such on this show, which is basically telling you what I think about writing, answering your questions, giving my opinion, and finally, always a book review. There'll usually be interviews. There'll be people I'll be talking to, like other writers, and my friends, my family, and people who will be kind enough to let me bother them with stories. But yeah, I look forward to it. So, Franklin, thank you so much. Audrien, thank you for saying hi. I was waiting for your question, didn't, but I know you're always watching me, so that's cool. And Nina, Apollonia, Eman, you didn't ask any questions, dude. Like, brother, how? Shufai, I was waiting for more questions, but it's okay. And you didn't even tell me whether I answered your question or not. Like, dude, bro, what the? Whoa, I almost threw my phone on the floor. And yeah, so pretty much that's it. Episode 1 is done. Thank you very much. Please share, like, leave a comment. I almost said subscribe, but this is not YouTube. So like, leave a comment, share, and follow. If you click on notifications, you see the follow button there. Just click, so whenever I come live, you'll be able to get a notification when I'm on. I'm talking too fast. I'm getting tired or excited or both. So whenever I come on, you'll be able to see that I'm on live if you click on notification. So thank you so much. Looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. And give me your feedback. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you like? What did you not like? What did you want? Yeah. The regular thing. Just, yeah. So thank you so much. And good night to you wherever you are. If you're sleeping, if you're up, if you're doing things that are not supposed to be done, stop and just, live a good life and be awesome.